Hello, Hannah. Soul Dr. Nick here, and today I want to have a little dive into the enemas and the coffee enemas that I've been doing starting in 2023. It's going to be a little bit of a longer video because I want to muse a little bit about this, especially since in the near future I will be taking a pause from doing them daily. And I thought now is a great time to reflect on that and to share what has me shifting things up. So I started this in 2023. Dr. Kelly Brogan had introduced the idea via the Vital Mind Reset program she did that my beloved went through. And I'd been thinking about this for about 10 years now at least, because I'd read an article about this way back when, and they were saying how they were fasting and doing these enemas at this retreat, and even after a few days they were still purging stuff. I'm like, what is there to purge still? How much gunk is in there? And I thought, I want to try this, but it seems too much. And then the key piece that Dr. Kelly broke about is like, you got to use these red soft tip catheter tips, and game changer. It's not a hard thing. And we went through different iterations of plastic buckets, of buckets that we had from real raw food, to I went for a colonic and got a metal bucket, and that's the one that's been my baby that I've been using. And I have plastic buckets on the go, and I've been replacing parts. So that's a piece as well, is that instead of using the same thing forever, it's to replace them regularly. And then went from regular, mold-free coffee, which is really important, to many bags. Oh my God, I went through so many bags. And then finding some specific coffee for enemas. And I'm so grateful for my beloved S.A. Wilson's and getting that. And then we did a wholesale order. I bought I can't remember, 40 pounds of it. And it was fantastic having that much, because then it was like, oh, let's just go. And going from, a couple times a week, sitting in the bathtub, worried I might make a mess, to very quickly being like, got this. I can hold it for 20 minutes. I can hold a liter at a time, to having them once a day, to worrying about what if I do too much? Will I lose sensation, lose the ability to poop, all this stuff. And I came across, I can't remember the article now, but I'll see if I can find the link and post it. And he was talking about the fact that, no, that's part of the myths, and being able to do it every day for at least 20 years. And it made me contemplate, I think I want to try this. And then started doing it every day, and sometimes even twice a day, and noticing that having that space, it was like my new meditation again. I would know that I'd have 20 minutes meditation. And I did the Way meditation app actually starting last year. When it first got released, I heard about it from Tim Ferriss, this path of meditation. And they released about 400 sessions, and I went through the whole thing because I did it with every enema. And it was fantastic because I could time it at 20 minutes as well. And then I started even traveling with it. I went down to Sedona with it. I would be in these group shared houses, but I'm like, I wake up early, I'm going to do the enema beforehand, and then I don't want to sit in the bathroom the whole time. Oh, I can actually lie in my bed and then walk to the bathroom. And realized I had mobility. It didn't have to just be sitting in a bathroom all the time. And the craziest was last year when I did the retreat with my dear brother Brent at X Camp, and it was completely remote. We had the satellite communicators, all it was. We had outhouses was all we had. And it was cold because it was freezing in the morning, and I would be doing it in this loft inside the main building after I started a fire to get me warm enough, and then lying there, and then taking it from there, and I'd have to boil water for this and all this fun stuff on the stove, and then I would have to walk all the way down and then out into the woods a little bit to the outhouse, and had to trust that I was going to be able to make it there. And so grateful I did it because it was so important. Doing the energetic work, this is just another tool to help clear, just like taking a good bath. And for me, it's like taking that internal bath. So definitely when I'm running ceremonies and stuff, I'll still be doing this. Definitely when I'm having a big meal or something else, I'll still be doing this. And I did this all the way until this year. So 2023 part of it, 2025 part of it. So I could say 3 years. I could say it's over 600 days probably now. And regardless, it's okay. It's not a contest. And that's what I'm reminding myself of. There's a part that's really good because our 3D minds really want that habitual evidence. And then we can live it and say, oh man, I live this. And there are people ask me specific questions. And I'm like, I don't know all the specific details. When I do something, I do it because it feels good for me. I'm not measuring any of my vitals, any of that stuff. And I look at my own health. How do I feel? How do I look? And right now, the reason for switching is because I want even more energy, vitality, and clarity. And now I'm clear that with more clarity, I want the energy and vitality to match the vision, the dream that I have. And so I reached out to, and I got connected by my dear friend Marika that are in this amazing naturopath, and she's been doing some energetic healing work, but as well, she mentioned I could do this diet, and I was like, you know what? I think it's time to shift things up again. Like I've been enjoying and indulging Christmas time season, all that stuff, and almost using the enema as a, well, you know what? I can clear it out, and it's true. Like it clears it out so much faster. And what would it be like if I put in much more clarity as well? And she said one of the things, and this is the challenge for me, she's like, maybe do enemas every other day for a bit, and maybe pause the coffee enemas for a month. Do some chlorophyll enemas, which I've added before. And at first I was wondering if I had to, and then she made a good point. It's like, as you're retraining your gut, it might be wonderful to see what's there, what moves on its own naturally as well. And that's what I'm seeing as well. I'm gonna do it every other day with chlorophyll instead of coffee for a bit, while I'm doing this diet, because it's very much cutting out the restaurants, going out to eat. It is cutting out some of the basic stuffs like dairy, gluten, sugar, and it's having, I just got a juicer, the Nama J2 juicer. Super excited about that, so I'll probably be talking about juicing soon. That's probably what I'll be talking about this year. But having juice, having more smoothies, having more supplements in the short term to get everything moving again differently, to do some parasite cleanses, to clean things out. And in the midst of all this, shifting it up and having guidance for it. And that's the second piece. I remind myself and others, this is not medical advice. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but I am recognizing how can I do what I want to do and get guidance on it. And why wouldn't I do that? And it's funny, my beloved was saying to me yesterday, he's like, oh, like, shouldn't you be doing this and that? I was like, this beginning phases of getting into it, I realized I'm going to play around a little bit. It's going to be a little bit of a dance. It's not about being perfect, especially things like Valentine's Day coming up. She really wants me to take her out. I don't want to pause or stop that and make it so strict that it's impossible. And I recognize everything that I do may reset things. So coming back to the enemas, were there any downsides for me? Not really, aside from looking back and saying, because every morning I probably spent at least about 2 hours, because it's between the preparation, the cleaning, each of the enemas, and the time between. Now, what it was for me was listening to a lot of podcasts, and more recently, doing the work with Dr. John DeMartini, affirmations, things like that. So I had amazing stuff to do. I didn't watch stuff, I listened to stuff, and that's a key piece too, because I really want to be relaxed. And if I'm listening, just receiving. And then I would do often meditations or some breath as well. So how did I make this time for me? And then I realized now, I know how that goes. I don't need to be there for the whole 2 hours. I spend less than an hour over the past month. And then I come out and I do my work outside of the washroom. So it's noticing I was getting into a pattern and a habit. And when it becomes too habitual, too patterned, that's a good time to shift it out for me, because then it's just a default mode of doing things. What else is there? I wasn't posting the videos even of how to make it, and I finally posted a video of making the coffee. That was probably my last one for a while in terms of the making, and I haven't even illustrated my normal setup. We've got a really soft yoga mat. I've got a rolled up towel for my pillow. I've got a towel underneath me, and I've got a blanket. I always have those things. And then I have these kind of, electronic candles, and when I feel like it, I have a real candle burning as well. We've got some of this Force of Nature cleaner, which is super natural to help clean things afterwards. I always got the toilet paper, although I would really love a little rinser, a little bidet. That's probably what I'd want in the future. And being really gentle on your asshole, especially when you're going this often, it's really important, because you don't want to get it rough or painful or inflamed. And then having this automatic instant read thermometer, and I'll show all that in a future video, to be able to measure the temperature, because you don't want it too hot. For myself, I realized if I get over 40 degrees, not so comfy. If I get below 37 degrees, it's a little cooling. So I really like between about 37 to 39 for me. And then near the end, I was adding some magnesium sometimes and some salt sometimes, thinking maybe this will help me to relax all that smooth muscle as well. So there are things that I was shifting and playing with, and I hadn't actually looked more into what other formulations there are. So people often ask, like, I've got this or this. I'm like, I don't know. I haven't been looking, because this was working. Probably after this, when I want to get back into this again, I will be taking a look at what else is possible, what other modalities and ways that I can play with this. What else is there? I mean, in general, I feel the best I've ever been. It's just I realize the best I've ever been is just another comparison point. It's saying, oh, I'm the best versus this is just where I'm at. Amazing. And what's possible? And what do I want to choose? And it's even looking at all the different things. And I won't go into all the tangents. So back to the enemas. If you've got specific questions that come up and you've watched this whole thing, ask. I'm going to try to create some more specific videos for people because I want to share more of this experience. I recognize for me it was a very taboo place to be before and I couldn't find much. And now I'm like, I can do this anywhere. Like there's a part of me wondering, could I do this on an airplane? Maybe first class, own cabin, kind of stuff like that. But definitely when I'm traveling with this right now. I traveled last year to Prince Edward Island, Canada. I traveled to Ottawa with it. I traveled to Edmonton with it. So it's essentially something I did every single day. No matter where I was in the world, I'd find a place and a way to do this. And it was important to me. And that's the thing. Like if it feels really important to you, then you're going to do it. And if it's not, don't beat yourself up for not doing it. For me, it took 10 years to get there. And I'm glad I waited that long because I didn't need it earlier. I did need it, but it probably would have got me to the insights I need to get to. And now moving forward in the future, I'm going to practice releasing the attachment to it and seeing what happens then. All right. Ciao for now.